Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. This is Richard, and I made attempts to get the sun out of my eyes and it's not working. I thought maybe this blanket would work. That didn't work, so I had to actually turn away from the camera there, away from that side. I don't know, is it difficult to see me? I can't tell. Anyway, a little bit of a story time. A week or two or so ago, my daughter calls me, Shanae, my oldest, calls me up and asks for my assistance. They had a pet goat that was attacked by dogs and they had to put it down. They wanted me to come out and butcher it, and I went out there. I skinned it. It was not suitable for consumption. I told her that, so they buried it, but I kept its hide, which is frozen right now in a big lump. Not only did I keep its hide, but I kept the horns attached, fur and everything. So what I'm going to do is thaw it out. I've got a stretcher sitting over here, and I am going to stretch it, and then I am going to scrape it and work on getting it suitable for either a wall hanging or possibly end up getting it, going ahead and tanning it completely and using it for something else. But right now all I'm worried about is having it thaw out, which will probably take a couple days anyway, and stretch it on the stretcher. So when that time is ready, I'll get back with you. Alright, so I decided I would take that frozen goat hide and put it in water so that it will help thaw it out, but I'm going to have to wash it anyways. Again, when I took the hide, it was pretty roughed up in certain areas. I mean, the dogs really ripped up its hind legs and its rear and got a hold of its throat and really jacked it up there as well. So when I took the hide off, there were spots that just, it was very, very messed up, and there's still not only it's stained with blood really bad because it bled out a lot, but there's still some meat attached because I couldn't get it off without damaging the hide at the time. So it's not the greatest work I've ever done, taking a hide off an animal. It's not the worst I've ever done, but it's definitely not the best. So right there you can see there's the stretcher that I built, and hopefully hopefully it'll be big enough. If it's not big enough, I'll figure something else out. But I still think it's going to take at least overnight for this thing to thaw out enough, and then I'm going to wash it up, and then after I get it decently cleaned, I'll get it on the stretcher, and then we'll start taking all the gook off of it. And once that happens, then once I get it decently cleaned off, then I think I'll just salt it and let it dry. Those of you that have watched my channel over the years probably know I have attempted on several occasions to gather up an actual group of people to go out with me and just explore the areas around here and practice and learn what it would take to actually survive out here if that's what you had to do. And I've never really found anybody willing to put the effort into doing that. I have talked with a few people who say, oh yeah, you know, I would like to do that, or that's something I need to do. I've even had a few people say, well, I would do that, but I'm with group X or whatever, and you know, I'm working with them and this sort of thing. I really think time is running down on that. I really do think that we're clicking off the last few minutes. And today I had somebody approach me and ask that when it does happen, because they believe it's about ready to happen as well, when it does happen, if they could associate themselves with me. They really just said, hey, can we hang with you? Can we go with you when you take off? And I said sure. When it does happen, I would like to stay in place as long as I possibly can. I'm going to I don't plan on anything because plans always have to change. So I don't make plans because I know that they'll change. But I do kind of have an outline, I guess. I don't really put any meat and bones to the outline. I just have an outline. And I do plan on staying in place as long as I possibly can. Get the most out of digging in as best I can. But when it's time, I'm all about hunter-gatherer, moving around from here to there. That's really where I believe the survivors are gonna make it, is by not sticking in one place too long. Because the two biggest problems that I think people are gonna have, outside of the ability that most people just don't know how to gather food and water and actually survive anymore, but past that, the two biggest problems we're going to have is just the general population are going to go marauding around, and you see it every time the slightest little thing happens. Certain groups of people decide they just want to be fucking crazy assholes and just go destroy everything. And you're going to see that. That's what's going to happen. So you have to avoid that. You have to defend yourself against that. But if they don't get you, then the government will surely be sending people around, or at least people who claim to be authority figures will come around and try to take what they can as well. So you're going to have to worry about that along with survival. Now, I've spent my whole life learning how to defend myself and my loved ones, and I don't want to sound egotistical, but I'm not half bad at it. But I can still be stopped by a bullet, you know. If you're close enough for me to touch you, there's a problem for you. But if you can stay far enough away and hit me with a bullet, then you know I'm not going to defend against that. At least not hand to hand wise. Anyway, the sun's starting to come back out, and now I'm starting to get blinded again. If you hunker down in place, the marauders are going to come by. The military, the so-called authorities, are going to come and take what they want. So once that starts, I think it's the hunter-gatherer, move from place to place type people that are really ultimately going to survive this. And that's really my mindset on this whole thing. Okay, so it only took a couple hours for it to thaw out. I am going to see if it works on the stretcher. If not, I'm going to have to create a different stretcher. I use my stretcher this way, but I think I'm going to have to go in this more triangular diamond shape, or I'm sorry, this diamond shape more so. So first thing I'm going to do is see if this goat will even fit. It's going to be hard, but I might be able to do it. There we go. So I'm just going to simply tack it down with nails for now. So there we go. Not fantastic, but not the worst thing either. As you can see, there's a lot of work to be done with this thing, and it's gonna take some time. It got tore up pretty hard from those dogs, but it's gonna end up okay. So we're just gonna start by trying to get some of this fat and flesh off without cutting the actual hide. Not too bad. I'll throw this in a bucket. I'm going to put it in this tote so I can throw it out. I'll just work on this until I get bored. And I'll stop. As long as I keep it wet, it'll be fine. All right, well, that's not too bad. I got a good chunk of meat off of it, fat and meat and all that kind of stuff. I still have a lot more to do, but I'm gonna need salt, and I don't have any salt. So what I'm gonna do is take it off the rack. I'm gonna roll it back up, throw it back in the freezer, and it's probably gonna have to sit for another week or so before I can get the salt. I'll put it back on the rack, and then I'll just super salt it, and once it dries, then I'll be able to scrape off more. But for now, I think I've done as much as I can do. So I'm gonna get this down, get it wrapped up, get it put back in the freezer, and get this tub washed out, and we'll continue from there when we get a chance later.